Hello, and welcome to the podcast. This is Resurrection Sunday, and today I just want to talk about basically how it's good for you to learn to express yourself. And as far as your feelings is concerned, how you feel ahead of time so that later on things don't build up or people don't get used to you not saying anything, and before you know it, here you start defending yourself or standing up for yourself, and people just, they don't know how to take it. They can't accept that side of you because they never saw it, so they take it wrong as if and though you're being mean, but really you just finally opening up about your feelings, your true self, and how you feel about things. And so it's just good. It's not good to keep your feelings bottled about things, how whatever it concerns, because a lot of times people will come around, they'll take advantage of you, they'll do things when it comes down to you, that they don't like other people to do with them, or they won't like it. You know what I'm saying? They won't accept it even. And so they don't have no problem expressing how they feel. They'll flat out tell you, look, you ain't gonna do this. You ain't gonna do that. But whereas with other people, when they'll just, kind of like be quiet. They won't say nothing. They won't state about how they feel about certain things. They'll just let you just do whatever, never say a word. And so today I wanted to talk about that. One of the biggest things that you can kind of confront in your life is your past. And so, like, sometimes, you allow your past kind of can dictate, the things of your future. I mean, it can kind of like, if you like allow things from your past to get to a place where you never address that past, it can harm your future later on. It can harm how you go about things later on. So there's like people who've been molested. There's people who've had issues with their siblings, or with their family members, or with their cousins, or just different things that they've dealt with, and they never spoke up. They never said, well, this has happened to me, that has happened to me. And so a lot of the times they hold a lot of resentment and not even realize it. And so it really takes God to come in and help you to get through those areas, or to heal you from those things, so that you can be expressive as to how you feel. You find yourself bottled up, and just like a Coke can, if you shake it and continue to shake it, eventually once you open it, it explodes. And so to avoid exposed behavior, you ought to address the problem, whatever the problem is. And so that's what I've been learning here lately, is that when you, some people say like a closed mouth don't get fed. Sometimes, you just, you don't speak about how you feel about things, and people don't know because you ain't said nothing. And so you can't expect for them to address it or to even consider your feelings, because you never said anything about how you feel. So they assume that everything is good. But really, deep inside, you done hid a lot of things, or you done just not spoke up on a lot of things. And so I wanted to deal with that today. And I want to say to all those that have been holding back and not saying anything about how you feel, to all those that ain't never addressed their feelings about certain situations, about the way people treat you, about, what people do or what they have done to you in your past. To all them, I just have to say that, for one, you ought to forgive yourself. Forgive yourself for not speaking up. Forgive yourself for allowing others to inflict harm on you or to treat you a certain type of way and not speaking up for yourself. Forgive yourself. And then secondly, I would say speak up. Because eventually you'll get to a place where you just stop caring about everybody else's feelings, because you'll learn that as long as you say nothing, they don't even know that you have a certain way that you feel about certain things, So they just automatically assume that it's okay, even if they don't think it's okay when it comes down to them. See, I was brought up with the thoughts to do unto others as I would have for them to do unto me. So, in other words, treat people how I want to be treated. And so if here it is, I don't want to be taken advantage of, then I shouldn't be taking advantage of other people. If here it is, we go out to eat every Sunday, and every Sunday that we go out to eat, I expect for this person to pay the bill, to foot the bill. And never once do I even offer to pay. That's a problem. It's a problem because I haven't addressed it. And so here it is, I'm still fitting the bill, or they're still fitting the bill, and they haven't addressed it. However, the whole point is that if I don't want somebody to do it to me, I ain't got no business doing that to somebody else. I should look out for people just like I want them to look out for me. And in this world, in this society today, a lot of people don't do that. They don't look out for others like they want others to look out for them. They don't go out and do for other people. They want people to do for them, but they don't want to do for others. They tend to, because of the place that you hold in their lives, they tend to assume that you're going to do this, you're going to do that. Because of maybe your past, you've always done it. But everything changes. People change, their situation change, and you can't just assume nothing. A lot of times you got to get some type of reassurance about how other people feel, because otherwise you'll be hurting a person and unintentionally, you know what I'm saying? Or unknowingly. People hold a lot of feelings back, especially when it comes down to people close to them, whether it be best friends, whether it be boyfriends, girlfriends, any type of relationship. People tend to hold things back, and you'll never really know how a person feels unless you talk to them about it, or unless you ask them about, well, how do you feel about this? Well, what do you think about that? But if a person never do come to you and ask you how you feel, assuming that you'll be okay with it, then they'll never know. They'll never really know how you feel because they never even ask. So then the question is there, do you even care? Do you even care how that person feels about it? And so you ought to, because most of the time, them same very people are going to be caring about your feelings and how you feel about things. You know what I'm saying? And eventually what'll happen is they'll get to the point where, well, since nobody asked me how I feel about a certain situation, regardless as to what it is, then I'm going to stop caring about how other people feel. I'm just going to do what I want to do. I'm just going to do it how I want to do it. And that's not the right way to think either. So that's why I said, as far as I'm concerned, when it comes down to your feelings, how you feel about certain situations and things, you ought to really address it early on. Learn how to speak up for yourself. Nip it in the bud. That way later on, you ain't got to worry about people considering your feelings, because they're going to automatically come to you and say, well, what do you think about this? How do you feel about that? Should I? Should I not? What should I do here? Or do you want to? You know what I'm saying? Or they may even start to offer, well, this is how can I help you? What do you need for me to do? You got it? Or, you know what I'm saying? Instead of automatically assuming, because that's not good either, to just assume. You can't just assume people's circumstances. You can't just assume people's situations, because like I said, situations change. I know my situations changed since I was at one point, which I still am, a homeowner. And so with a mortgage, your mortgage is lower than rent. And so I had a mortgage for so long or whatever, and my mortgage was really low. And so my income was bigger than my mortgage. So I could save up money. I could go on trips and take other people with me and never ask them for a dime, because I had it like that. Well, when things started changing and I had a mortgage and I had rent, things got a little bit more tough. And it seemed like, people get used to what I used to do and didn't think about what's going on at that time, at the current time, you know what I'm saying? And so people didn't ask, oh, well, are you good? Do you need me to do this? Do you need help with that? What can I do to help? Oh no, I'm a do this. I'm gonna do that to help. Just out of consideration. It never was, because at one point it was never a problem. I don't know, you ain't got to worry about that. I got you. Oh no, you ain't got to worry about. Yeah, just come on. Da 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 da. Maybe I had the room at the time, and I could just pile up many people or whatever the case may be. I was good, but situations change, things change. If you notice, gas prices are higher. If you noticed, your food, groceries are more expensive nowadays. If you've noticed, we've had issues with even keeping food a lot of times in the supermarkets. So things are changing all around us. And as things change, we have to change the way we do things. We have to change the way we think about each other. Life is not the same. Life is shorter. People have been, dying. Things have been happening. And so you got to treat people like you want to be treated. You know what I'm saying? You got to consider yourself. Consider yourself, because if you start learning how to consider yourself, when it comes down to others will consider you as well. Matter of fact, they'll never have nothing negative to say about you. They'll always say, man, I tell you, regardless of whether I was on the top of the mountain or on the lowest hills, guess what? This person will always come through. Whenever it is that we had something going on, that person always tried to help. They always tried to figure out how they can help the situation, what they can do for me. They considered themselves. And so I know my child, I have a daughter, and she has no problem telling you how she feels. Matter of fact, a lot of people don't cross her, because that's, they already know she going to be upfront, straight up honest about it. I got a sister, and my sister, she's the same way. Boy, people don't just do, or they don't speak anything. They don't just do anything around her, because she's just gonna nip it on in the bud. She gonna go ahead and tell you how she feel, whether you like it or not. And That's just always been them. So guess what? These people earn a certain type of respect. People don't just do things, or they don't just assume things because, they already know if it ain't like that, they gonna tell them, hey, this is that. Whereas for me, I would always go on with the flow, go along with the flow, go along with the flow. And then, one day it was kind of like being backed up in a corner and having to confront things like, no, I don't like this. No, this can't happen like that because of this, And I had to learn how to stand up for me and how I feel. I had to be true to my own feelings. I had to be real with my own self. And as you become real with yourself and how you feel about things, guess what? You can address them. But my thing is, if you're considering yourself, you won't ever have to get to that point, because you're not going to put on others which you wouldn't want to put on yourself. So you wouldn't want others to put on you, in other words. So if I'm over here and I'm, like I said, going out to eat with a certain type of people, and I'm always paying, and I'm always paying, and I'm always paying, guess what? That weight is always going to be on that person. And eventually, they're going to get upset about it. I'm going to get upset about it and be like, hey, somebody else needs to be paying, because I'm not paying all the time. I'm just not going to do it. The same way I feel about other people. If every time I look up, I'm always expecting them to do certain things, that's not right. I can't do that, because it weighs on folks, so now there's a give and take. Here it is, on vacations, for instance. When I go on vacations, especially if I'm going on one with my mate, guess what? I might, pay for the for the place that we're going to stay at. And they might be paying for the food, and they may be paying for all the events that we go to. So it evens out. You know what I'm saying? Or I'm making sure I might get the rental car, they got the gas. And not only the gas, but they got the food. Or maybe they paying for the hotel and the food while I pay for just the rental car. You know what I'm saying? Or maybe we switch up. Maybe I pay for everything, on that vacation, and that person pays for everything the next vacation. We just kind of switch up. Well, that balances things out. And so you never want to put more pressure on people. You always want to consider others. That's all I'm saying. At the end of the day, so that it won't be too much on one person. You really ought to consider yourself. It's like a single mother, for instance. A single mother, you got to bear all the kids, all their problems, everything that's going on with them. You got to be there for them, because the dad's not there. They're not involved. And so all the pressure goes on to you. Some people got child support. Some dads aren't in that person's life at all. You know what I'm saying? And so depending on the relationship, a lot of times everything that child goes through, everything that they're experiencing, all of it goes on that mother. There is no balance unless there is a stepfather, somebody else to help carry the load. You know what I'm saying? But otherwise, it's you and your children. And the only thing that'll balance that thing out is the children considering their parent and trying to see, well, what can I do to help my mother or my father? You know what I'm saying? To help with the load. Maybe they can't help financially, but they can help with the physical activities, the things that needs to be done around the house, or cooking the meal, or something. You can bring something to the table. You know what I mean? And so instead of just allowing that parent to just constantly carry the load, it goes for any relationship. Rather it be that, rather it be, even with the fathers, the father that maybe they're not together, but at the same time, they could split visitation. Here it is, 1 minute, in the summertime, they with the dad. In the wintertime for school, they with their mom. Maybe half the year they with their dad, half the year they with their mom. Therefore, there's no need for child support. And if they do pay child support, it's the bare minimum because they're just helping with financing for the school, you know what I'm saying, or whatever. So it just all depends on the relationship. But regardless, the whole point of the matter is, at the end of the day, you ought to be considerate of others. Don't take people for granted. Consider yourself. Think about how you treat people. That way people can think about you. You know what I'm saying? They'll consider you. And a lot of people end up in really bad situations because a lot of people just think about themselves. There's people that, I'm telling you, there is people who whole agenda is not to think about you. It's not to consider your feelings. It's not to try to help you in any way. Matter of fact, their whole agenda is self-gain. What can I do to help me become a better person, or have more things, or gain more, or they come to take away. Some people come to be a leech. I've had my share, people come into my life and drain me for whatever, whether it be finances. I looked up and I'm carrying my load plus them. It's like plus one. Or whether it be things. Ooh, I like that. What, this hat? Yeah, you can have it. Here you go. Oh, I like that too. What? Oh, these shoes? Okay, here you go. Oh, I like this too. Oh, what, this purse? Here you go. You constantly find yourself giving. But never once do you hear them say, I got this dress, or I got this skirt, or, I got this. You want this? There's never nothing equal about it. They come to take away, not give anything. And maybe they're looking at, well, this is your situation. This is my situation. You don't need anything. How do you know? Had you asked? And so you have to consider yourself, because you really never know what other people are going through. You really never know what you may be able to bring to the table when it comes down to considering others. So anyways, the point of the matter is, I just hope, somebody, listening to this message gets the courage to speak up for themselves and not allow people to take advantage of you. Okay, so also today, I also wanted to introduce my sister, Lamika. She wants to talk about how she feels about speaking up for herself, for yourself, in her perspective. Lamika, what do you call yourself now? This is Love Life and Keep on Living.
Hello, people out there on Love Life and Keep on Living. I'm Lamika Smith, Angela Smith's sister, and how I feel about speaking up and speaking your mind and marking your territory and your boundaries that involves yourself, I think is really good, because as I learned, even just from work and not speaking up, I feel like it eats at you. It bothers you more when you don't speak up, and it can also lead to health problems. You not speaking up, you not stating how you feel, can lead to health problems with high blood pressure and even depression. So I think it's really good that you speak your time. You speak your mind and just let people know where you stand at from the beginning. So that's what I, learned in life, and setting your boundaries. And also, at that point, when you're ready to speak your mind, you know how to speak it or how to say it. Also, take time to meditate on what to say and how to say it, so that when you come across respectful, but also come across as, this is my boundaries. Yeah, I'm standing on it. You know what I'm saying? And that's how you do it. And that's how I feel. You don't ever want to get to the point where you everything's getting all bottled in, because then when you release, you may release it on the wrong person. You may release it not the right way. So, but that's my take on it. And back to Angela Smith.
Thank you so much, Lamika, for your take on everything. But anyways, I just wanted, I'm just hoping that this really helps somebody as to speaking up for yourself. Don't let yourself be backed up in a corner and then finally speak up years and years later on. A lot of people, like you said, end up dealing with high blood pressure, dealing with different physical issues, like you said, depression and different things like that, because they kept things bottled up. Bottling up things don't help. Releasing things, even though, and sometimes, even if it comes out wrong, you can always go back and apologize as to how it came out, but also let it be known, but this is really how I felt about it. You know what I'm saying? So even if it comes, because you got to start somewhere, and I wouldn't say you should start off wrong. It's like she said, kind of think on how you feel and how it sounds saying it or worded correctly. But sometimes, there's times where you don't get a chance to think about those things. You're confronted in a situation, as she was talking about with her job, and sometimes you have to just speak up and look, this is how I feel about it. This is what it is. If you don't like it, it is what it is. If you didn't consider me on how you came at me about it, so this is me speaking on how I feel about it. And at this point, your feelings about how you feel about how I'm coming at you may not be relevant, but as of now, this is what you're going to get. I'm not telling you, sometimes this is how, because people can be disrespectful. And when they come at you disrespectfully, I'm not telling you that you should come back the same way, because, even the Bible talks about, come in with love and kindness. But sometimes people take your kindness for weakness, and you do have to make a stand. You have to stand on how you feel, regardless as to the situation. Sometimes you just have to let it be known. You got to mark that line in the sand and be like, okay, now you done crossed that line a little bit too many times. Now it's time for me to go ahead, and now I'm going to tell you how I really feel about it. But like I said, don't let yourself get to that place. You begin, if you start off with respect later on, people will know how to treat you. They say that you teach others how to treat you, and how you teach them is what you put up with. And so if you're not putting up with people's bullcrap, rather you stop putting up with it now, or you learn earlier on, hey, you're not going to just, this is where we're going to draw the line at right here.
If they don't like it, don't talk.
Yeah, if you don't like it, then you ain't got to talk to me. what's the Fantasia? Fantasia said, "You don't want me, then don't talk to me." Look, if you don't like it, don't talk to me. we can respect each other from a distance. I can love you from a distance. You know what I'm saying? However you want to deal with it, however you want to go about it, it's up to you. But you do have to draw that line. You can't just let people run over you, and you can't just let them treat you any kind of way. You got to speak up for yourself. But anyways, thank you so much for listening to the broadcast. Until next time, blessings.